better give me that money.
Hey, dirty. Baby, I got your money, don't you worry. I said, hey, baby, I got your money. Hey, dirty. Baby, I got your money.
Welcome to Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, presented by the fine folks at Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. I am one of those fine folk, Jamie G. Esquire, the fifth master of the courtroom wager.
Greatest legal mind I ever knew.
And I'm here with Magnum Mills to look at some NFL futures with 2/3 of the 2023 season in the books. We're already at week 13. Blows my mind.
I am Magnum Mills, and I can't really believe that there are 2/3 of the season in the books already, but I can believe that Jamie G has made some courtroom wagers, which may or may not have involved, let's just say, some time where I didn't see him for a couple of weekends. Thank you for checking out Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, presented by Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Remember, we can help you bet it, we can help you bank it, but when it comes to blowing it, you are on your own. You can find us wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. We're on social media at Seize the Gap FF. Do not forget it, and do not forget the flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. Helps other people find our show, find our channel. It's all we ask. If you make a couple bucks and you have a little fun, please give us one thumb.
Just one. You can spare one of those. Let's dive right into the futures, Miss Cleo style. Calling me now. Mills, are you putting down any wagers on the eventual Super Bowl champion?
Most of the odds are pretty short here. The one that jumped out a little bit to me, if I was going to put down a couple ducats, give me the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 1,500. I like what they've done. They got the little taste of playoff experience last year. They had the huge comeback versus the Chargers. I don't think they're going to get the home playoff game, but would it really surprise me if they made a little bit of a run like the Bengals did a couple years ago? Not at all. I could see T-Law taking that next step. They've got a nice complement of weapons. They've got a nice running game with ETN. It really comes down to that defense, I think. But of all the shots that are in the 4 digits there, past your big favorites, I think Jacksonville's my favorite. How about you, man? Any future wagers here you're into?
Similar but different than you. I actually like Jacksonville as the AFC conference champ here. I like their schedule down the stretch. They're in a weak division. I know Baltimore is there. I know Miami's chomping at the bit. I like Jacksonville here at plus 650 for the AFC conference championship winner. I'm feeling it, man.
Nice. And this one might be just a little bit of hate in my blood, but I'm going to say Atlanta will not make the playoffs. That's Atlanta, no to making the playoffs, minus 110, and straight up even plus the juice. Look, I think they did the wrong thing with Desmond Ridder just in general. It just looks like the wrong decision now. I don't think they can keep this up. Yes, it's only going to take 8 wins to win that division. I think either the Saints or the Bucs are going to come take it from them somehow. I just don't trust Desmond Ridder with any game on the line. They've gotten some luck, and I think it's going to kind of regress back to the mean here. So I'm saying the Atlanta Falcons do not make the playoffs, minus 110. Jamie G, any other futures?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Miami goes over 12.5 wins, plus 160. I like the juice on that, and I think it's reasonable. Give me Miami over 12.5 wins.
Nice. And if we're going to do the wins thing, maybe I'm being a little mean once again, but give me the Patriots under 3.5 wins, plus 140. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. That's still, they can win one more in there. And if they have any brains, they need to lose as many games as possible. Bill Belichick, you're a great strategist. That's what you should be doing. Losing games. And maybe he is. Maybe he's playing 6-dimensional chess. This was all part of the plan. But whatever. I'm just saying, even if they try, and that's probably the saddest part, they are trying. New England under 3.5 wins, plus 140. Mark it down. Jamie G, any other futures?
I literally had that same future written on the paper. I love New England under 3.5 at plus 140. I would double down on that, baby. I like that one. I think that about wraps it for me, brother.
If it was on the board, would you take New England under 2.5?
I think I would, just because, do you see him winning another game? I don't.
Accidentally, just to screw themselves over. Hopefully they win 2 more, just because I don't want to see, personally, as a non-Patriots fan, I don't want to see them fall back asswards into another franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I don't either, but yeah, I think I would still take that, man. I don't know that they win another game.
Let's be honest, if any other team was playing these semantics games with not naming who their starting quarterback was, we would be right there with it. So I think the Patriots brand has worn off. Yeah, I think it's entirely possible they lose out without intending to.
DraftKings has some win bets up in the form of mixed team specials. That's basically a fancy way of saying which team will win more games. And if you ever need help translating what your lawyer's telling you, Jamie G. Esquire V will not help you. But I will think of you. Mills, any action on these?
And Jamie, he just billed you an hour for what he just said right there. So make sure
Yes,
you
he
check your
did.
mail. He does have Cash App, Venmo, all that good stuff. I'm just going with one here. Maybe it's a little bit of a reverse jinxie thing, but I'm just doing the math, and I'm going to say Kansas City has more wins than Philadelphia. That's plus 475. Right now, they have they're two back basically. The Eagles have 2 games in hand, but I think that the Chiefs are going to win out. I think that the Eagles lose at least 2 games down the stretch here. So worst case scenario, you're going for a push here. If the Eagles struggle a little bit, I could see Casey getting there. So I'm basically planning on this being a push at worst. So that's not generally the best way to go about your wagers. Again, probably not something I would put a ton of Skrilla on, but I wanted to pick one wager out of this section. And honestly, most of them were not very valid. You're mostly just throwing a dollar in a dream at, somehow the New York Giants to have more wins than the Dolphins or something like that. So really no need to go there. Did you pick anything from this bracket or not?
I did. I love your reverse psychology there with your Eagles, but I disagree. I don't think that's going to happen. I actually like the Jacksonville Jaguars to get more wins than the Kansas City Chiefs, plus 125. There's not a ton of good optionality here, but this was one that jumped out to me again. I think they have a legitimate chance of getting the #1 overall seed in the AFC. I could see that happening. I like their I don't know, man. I think they still got some division matchups. The division's not very good. I could just see them getting on a little bit of a heater here, where I think that the Chiefs have been, kind of tight games here. They could, they could lose 1 or 2 of them, where I'm not so sure Jacksonville will. So give me the Jaguars at plus 125.
Nice. And I will say that this kind of wager is always more fun early in the season because the lines are going to be a lot closer. There's a lot more left to your imagination. Here, there's not really that many good ones to pick because you're really something, one wild thing will happen probably. There will be one team that tanks out of nowhere, one team that goes on a real winning streak. But for the most part, you're probably just leaning towards most of the favorites on these wagers. But, we want to get a little action in on it.
Always got to get some action. That brings us to our league leaders. Other than Tyreek Hill down in Miami leading the NFL in receiving yards, we got a bunch of viable options here for these. Mills, where are you going to start with this?
You know what? I know Tyreek Hill is the only guy we're seeing basically with a negative number. I believe he's minus 120, but not that far back is Keenan Allen, and he is plus 600. And let me tell you something about Keenan Allen and the Chargers. The Chargers defense is very bad, and they don't have anybody else on offense to throw the ball to right now. Austin Eckler does not look great. It really wouldn't surprise me to see Keenan Allen really keep up this 110, 125 yard a game pace while Tyreek Hill gets scaled back a little bit more as the Dolphins try to get ready to win some playoff games. The Chargers have no choice. They're just going to have to air it out game in, game out. It might not be pretty. He might not have the most impactful yards. There might be some garbage time in there. But at plus 600, having to make up about 170 yards right now, I'll take those odds. Would much rather do that than lay the negative juice on Tyreek Hill. Jamie G, you got any league leader picks here? Any league leader wagers?
He's been on a little bit of a heater here, and I could see him kind of stringing it together. I know there's a difficult schedule here down the stretch, but one guy that I could see maybe putting something together here is CeeDee Lamb in Dallas. He's plus 1,400. I really like those odds. If he was able to do it, but I could just see him getting on continuing to get on an absolute heater here and put up, stacks in big games, maybe try to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably the one guy that was kind of impacted here by the slow start. He just Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill came out guns blazing right out of the gate. It took CD about 5-6 weeks to really get it going. That just might be too much to overcome. Your real hope would be that San Francisco, Philly kind of come back to the pack a little bit, so Dallas has to keep going for it. Because if it gets too far out, they are a team that might not have anything to play for in about week 16 or so. And this is a case where, because it's league leaders, week 18 counts. It's not like fantasy leagues. There will be guys out there in week 18 going for those bonus checks or those statistical benchmarks and what have you.
Yeah. I know we're supposed to be doing futures here, but I can't help myself. Before we get out of here, let's each give one wager for the week, for week 13. All right. I love this part of the action every week, being able to make your plays, your wagers. Let us know what your wager of the week is. For me, I'm going to put together a nice little two-leg parlay here and boost my odds a little bit, Mills. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line and Detroit -4. That two-leg parlay on DraftKings is plus 167. Nice little juicy nug here. You put $50 down, you get 133 back. I like the action on this one. Give me that two-leg parlay.
Roger that. And you know what? If you're doing a two-leg parlay, then I feel like I need to do a two-leg parlay because I can't just be throwing up some regular old bet up there against that. I am going to go with a two-leg total parlay. Give me the over 47 in San Francisco at Philly, in the under 40 in Los Angeles Chargers at New England. That's plus 261 on DK. I feel confident that the San Francisco Philly line is going to close somewhere in the 48.5, 49 region, unless there's some bad weather moving in. And maybe Lane Johnson being out might knock that down a half a point or something like that. And I expect the Chargers New England number to fall somewhere in the 30s. Maybe it only goes down to 39.5 or 39. But I mean, would it really surprise you if the New England offense scores 7 points again? I believe they are the only team in the NFL that has lost a game when holding the other team to under 10 points. They've done it twice, and that's only happened like 3 times in the past 50 years. It's just, or in the past 15 years or something. It never really happened. So it really wouldn't surprise me if the defense plays good enough to hold the Chargers down to, 14, 17 points, and the Patriots go ahead and score 6.
I really like the over-under two-legger there, man. Good call on that. Those are some solid
I like them
plays.
both, so I figured why not fix the, let's get some higher juice on them.
Well, I like the what'd you say, 267? I mean, that's good juice, man.
Yeah, 261. So a nice little
261. I mean, that's a nice little pop there. I may go ahead and take you up on that, Mills. I think that about does it. Anything else before we get out of here? And again, now's the time to like and subscribe. You don't want to miss a second of some Bet It Bank It Blow It. You don't want to miss these picks. We want to hear about your picks. This is interactive. You can call in, you can dial us in, you can write us in, you can be a part of the thing. Let us know what you're taking and what you like.
Yeah, I mean, like that. I mean, really, we're now legally obligated to listen to you talk about your picks. That's right up there with listening to someone talk about your fantasy team. I mean, it's like we're getting paid for it without getting paid for it, but we're there to help you out. So I don't think you can complain, and because this didn't cost you nothing. Thanks again for checking us out. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We are on social media at CZGapFF. Do not forget those flaps. Follow, like, and please subscribe. It's all we ask. If you make a couple bucks and you have some of the fun, give us some of your thumb. I'm Magnum Mills. He's Jamie G. And please don't forget, while we can help you bet it and we can help you bank it, we cannot help you blow it. That's up to you.
And yeah, blowing it, yeah, it's half the battle. But it is like 90% of the fun.